not know, I had no recollection that I was sinning, that I had a husband, that I had children, that I lived on the earth, that I did good or bad things. There's no recollection. All I knew is that I lived there, where I was in that universe. I belonged there, and that was my home. So I was enjoying myself. So I was floating in air, and the Lord allowed me to experience 4 different kinds of emotions. The first, or feelings, the first of which was God's peace. When the priest says at Mass, peace be with you, if you have experienced what I have experienced, it's nothing like the peace here on earth. It is something that you will really long for and aspire for. And when the Lord allowed me, there was this huge being in front of me. I knew he was there, but I couldn't see him yet. And it was just pure white light, but I knew he was there. And he allowed me to feel this peace. So I was enjoying very peacefully in that place until I heard noises. And the noises were here on my right side towards down. So I took a look down and I saw the squatter area. In the squatter area, what I saw was yung naghahabulan na magkapit-bahay na may bolo. So there must be a fight, and one neighbor was running after the other one, of course, cursing and all. And then I saw a husband kicking his wife, slapping her, and tugging her hair. Nag-aaway sila. And then I saw children playing people, but they were making daya, no? And I saw men who were naked, no? Were raised up, drinking already in the sari-sari store and playing that drama or something. And they were cursing each other, they were saying bad words, and they were making dayas. And then we also saw mga labandera na nag-chismis about their neighbors. It was the whole thing of squatter area. And I said, how stupid of those people down there. What are they doing? What they're doing has no bearing to where I am. I was just watching. Then he moved me over to the office, where I saw the boss sleeping with his assistant. And I saw many employees bringing home their bond paper, their paper clips, their ball pens, and then not even thinking that it's stealing. And then I saw 2 girls, office mates, who was putting down the other person because she wanted to get a promotion. So she was stealing the project, and then there were so many things happening in the office. It was very real. Yeah, I looked at it and said, oh my God, they're really stupid. And then the Lord allowed me to see the world. And then I said, Lord, I said, how stupid of those people down there. Don't they know that there's no bearing to where I am? It will not bring them to where I am. And after that, he disappeared. And the Lord allowed me to experience love this time. So the being now in front of me was sending me, I call it waves of love. Kasi talagang waves. So he was sending me waves. When I say waves, it's because there was a sound, parang ocean waves. It was going like this, like shh. When it hits me, it's very loud. So it hits me, and it was going from here, 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 here. He never stopped. I said, sarap, special ako. I felt so loved. I felt so, just the special daughter, parang talagang spoiled child. So he kept on sending it to me, and I really enjoyed. Until such time as I was already suffocating with the love. Because talaga said, Lord, I can't breathe anymore. I know you love me. I know I'm special. Tama na, Lord, tama na lang. Hindi pa rin, he never stopped. He just kept on sending those waves of love. Until I realized what the nuns were telling me. I studied in Maryknoll, and I realized what the nuns were telling us during religion class. So they said, you don't have to be envious of the girl next to you. You don't have to be envious of anything, of anyone. Because the Lord can give all of you everything at the same time. He will not just give to one, He can give to all. The problem is not the Lord. The problem is you. You are not prepared to take the blessing, to receive the blessing. So you don't have to be envious. Because the Lord will give it to you if you have the right frame of mind and the right heart. He will never remove anything from you that's good for you. So don't be envious. So when I realized that, I said, uy, ang galing no talagang Lord. The Lord can love everyone. So I accepted the waves of love again. So he was sending it na naman, although I was suffocating. When I said, Lord, talaga hindi ko na kaya. Alam ko lang mo, when He sent it, it did not go through me anymore. It bounced back, but it did not bounce back to Him. It bounced to my side. Here, side, always my side. Then I realized that when you are full of the love of the Lord, it is this love that you can share to another person. It's never by your grace, it's never by your love alone, but it's love that comes from Him that can make you accept your enemies.
that can make you accept anybody you don't like because you can love them because of the love of God that is poured into you. When you're full of His love. So sabi ko, Lord, lahat ng tinuro sa akin, talagang pinalalabas niya. Then it disappeared. The next is the mercy of the Lord. Because this time, I really felt good. And this is where, if ever I'm going to end my life, it's the thing that I will ask from the Lord is, Lord, be merciful unto me. Because mercy is full of happiness, of peace, of contentment, of compassion, of understanding. It's all inclusive. Better than just love. So I said, this is where I want to be. So I wanted to stay in that feeling of mercy all throughout my stay. However, He spoke, the first time I heard the Lord speak, was towards my left side. And this is what He said. If you are a hardened criminal and have sinned against God and believe that God can never forgive you, I can. If you have sinned against God and man and believe that man cannot forgive you, nor God will ever forgive you, I can. All I want you to do is to come to me. And when He said that, nagreklamo ako. Lord, why naman hardened criminal? I'm not naman a hardened criminal. I said, bakit naman hardened? He said, lahat naman hardened criminal. Without me knowing, those are prophetic words. 2 years from that date, in 1997, Mon was assigned as part of the council for the prison ministry of Couples for Christ. And I would be entering the prison walls. I would be speaking to inmates who needed that message of the Lord. No matter what you have done, whatever sin you have committed, God still loves you. All He wants to do is for you to repent and come back to Him. That's all that's needed. So I knew eventually what those words were for. But during that time, nagreklamo ko, Lord, bakit hardened criminal? I'm not a hardened criminal. And then, while still complaining, He started speaking again. And this really got me. And this is how He said it. Bring them all back home to me. He said it with those break in the face. Bring all home me. What the words that He emphasized. And I said, remember I had no memory when I started? I said, Lord, thank you. I belong to Couples for Christ. This is exactly what we're doing. This is exactly where I am. And I'm so glad I'm part of this community because this is what we're doing. So I was so happy. And then that disappeared. The next was, He appeared in front of me. And He started jumping and clapping and waving His hand. You know, He was adoring me. He was adulating me. He was praising me. He was, if all the couples here, there's nothing in the way of praising that will ever compare to the way God praises you. The way He was happy. He was stomping His feet. He was going like that. He was cheering me. I was just wondering, I was looking at Him. He jumped. Nawawala siya sa universe ko. Then He'd come down. He'd jump again. I said, Lord, what are you doing? And He didn't answer. He just smiled and went up again. And I said, Lord, are you happy with me? And He smiled, and He clapped, and He jumped. I said, Lord, really? Are you pleased with me? And He did. He smiled again. So I was so happy because He was so appreciative. And then after a while, I realized, sandali, mali ito. Kasi may time tamad ako magsimba, may time pinapagtok siguro sa Ilocos, ayoko punta sa Ilocos kasi medyo magbibigatan yung, mahirapan ako, ilang hours ride. Sabi ko, I knew then yung lahat ng kakulangan ko sa pagsilbi sa Kanya o sa pagtugon sa Kanya. And I knew I was getting ashamed and embarrassed. At the way He was adulating me, I said, Lord, no, don't do that. And when I asked Him, what are you doing, Lord? And you know what He said? The pleasure of God. That's how He's pleased. I said, no, Lord, don't do that. And still clap. It really took a while until He realized, no, Lord, please don't do that. Kasi nahiya na ako. Until I really shouted. And I really shouted when I think of it. I really said, Lord, no! And He was there. Wala siya, dito nagtun siya. I said, Lord, no! And then He just looked at me. I could not remember anything He swear. I just looked at His eyes. Eye to eye na lang kami. And He started going down. I just looked at His eyes. And He was looking at me. And I said, Lord, no. I am not worthy. As soon as I said that, I went back to my hospital bed. Because I sat up, I accidentally pulled off all my tubes. I was bleeding, so my nurse was telling me, Mama, please lie down. I have to put back the tubes. And said, you're bleeding, you're bleeding. So I looked at her, and I saw she was all white. I kept on blinking, wanting to go back to where I was. And he said, Mom, please, I have to put it back. So I looked at Mon, he was asleep. I looked at my mom, she was asleep. And I looked at her, she cannot understand where I came from. So I was on my way down. I saw my Divine Mercy in front of me. I have an altar every time I'm in the hospital. When I looked at my Divine Mercy, I said, it was you. I was with you. It was you. And the nurse, Susan, recorded that I was saying, it was you. And said, who, Mom? It was you, I was with you, it was you, I was with you. And I kept on saying that, and he said, Mom, please lie down. So when she put me down, I started closing my eyes, wanting to go back. And I never was able to go back. One thing I learned from that experience was, I could not speak to Mon, to my kids. Nobody brought me joy for the next 3 months of my life. I could not relate to people on earth again. And I didn't want to relate to people on earth again. Because one thing that the Lord allowed me to realize was, as soon as you open your eyes in the morning, being a fallen creature, you are bound to sin. All the senses are born to make you sin, because it's a battle of good and evil. It must be a conscious effort on our part not to sin, not to succumb to any kind of sin, because of your love for the Lord. And when I realized that, I was so scared to open my eyes each morning. Because there's a very thin line between holiness and unholiness. And God showed me that. But to this day, I started with what happened to me with my cancer. And when I think of it, Lord, I had that experience. Now I have cancer. And the Lord showed me a lot more things during this time. But I prefer to just stick on to that message of the Lord in the beginning, in 1997, when He said, bring them all back home to me. Mon and I will never stop. To the end of my days, I will proclaim the goodness of the Lord. Try as much as possible. As many of you that I can bring back. As many of you that I can allow to have that experience of really unity with God. Because what He has given me in the life that I'm experiencing now is nothing that I can ever give back to Him in glory. And everything that He has done in my life just proclaims His majesty and His greatness. So I urge you, please continue on, because this is one of the greatest messages of the Lord to me, and His greatest plea. Bring them all back home to me. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's her job now, to bring me back to the Lord. Okay, so we have explained clearly God's love is always there. God's love is constant. But the way to fully understand that love is to really listen more and more to the forthcoming talks. No? Because the talks will build up, okay, until we begin to understand how the Holy Spirit will work in our lives. But tonight, let's leave it at that. Next session, we will try and understand who is Jesus. Then we will begin to fully comprehend. So with that, I say good evening to you all, and I hope you have enjoyed this night. Thank you very much.